Amazon Jude, Judy Jones, and this is my last will and testament, March 23rd, 2018 at 7:14 in the evening. Hey everybody, I think you guys all know that by now I have cancer, two types of breast cancer, and I had a double mastectomy on both, so I don't have any boobs anymore. And I've already had one chemo treatment, and I lost all my hair, and I've been sick, about 3 or 4 days after my first chemo for about 9 days. I just did my second chemo, and this is day 3, and I'm already starting to feel run down and tired, and a little bit of sore throat going on, and so I imagine I'm going to get sick again. I'm just hoping it's not as sick as it was the first time, because that first blast was really bad, and then I happened to get a yeast infection on top of it, and then I got kind of a flu on top of that. So for 10 days there, I was just absolutely fucking just wrong. And so instead of doing like a will, I'm doing a video. And the only reason I'm doing this is because you never know. I mean, there's a good chance I'll survive, but there's also, a 20% chance I won't. And I wanted everybody to know how much they meant to me in my life and what I learned from each one of you that has touched my life. And I'm not quite sure where to start, so I'll just start with my husband. Dana, I love you more than you'll ever know, and I want you to know I never did anything to hurt our marriage. I never played around on you. I never cheated on you. I told you white lies, once in a while, but they're just white lies. They weren't, relation altering. They were just, usually a money lie of some sort. But the 20 years I've spent with you, I don't think I could have spent with anyone any better. You were always good to me. You were a little stingy at times, but we got along pretty well for the most part after the first 4 years. But we had to work out some issues. I mean, we both went into this marriage. This was my third. This was your second. And we've both been screwed over by previous partners, and didn't have a whole lot of trust, And I hope after 20 years you developed enough trust to know that I stayed because I loved you. I didn't stay because I had to. Our kids are grown. They're both doing great. I think we were both good parents. And I think a lot of that had to do with some of the people that were in my life for my son. I mean, even if they weren't my boyfriend, they still wanted to spend time with my son James, and they taught him how to be a man. And then when you came along, you taught him how to be fiscal responsible and work ethic. So he turned out to be a well-rounded gentleman. And James, you did. Mom, I am so proud of you, James. There is no one I love more than I loved you. And for being my son, anything that is mine is yours. Whatever I have, if you want it, it's yours. Whether it be my trucks, my motorcycles, I'd like you to have all 3 of them. But I want to give Daniel my truck. I think Daniel's earned it. He's been good to me. He's been a good hand out here. And I think he needs something reliable for himself. But the 2 bikes you can have, and you can either sell them or, just keep them. Drain the fluid out of them and save them. Someday they'll be worth some money. My jewelry, I want to go to your wife, and that's 5 rings. There's a green emerald ring, and it's gold. There's my big cluster ring, and that's gold. There's my 10th anniversary ring, and then there's my 18th anniversary ring, and then there's my wedding set, and that's a cluster of 27 diamonds. They all have diamonds in them, and each one is probably worth anywhere from, I don't know, probably $700 to as much as $2,500. Don't lose them. Hold on to them. If Candace wants to take a couple of them and melt them down and build a really nice wedding set for you guys, I would say go for it. I think if you really get serious about it, that big cluster ring, I think I'd like to see that go to Dana's daughter, Laura. So if you would share that, give her that ring, I think she would really like that. And it's right up her alley. It's chunky, and I see her wearing it on a middle finger. My sewing machine, you guys already have that, James, so you guys can just go ahead and keep it. As far as my clothes, go ahead and, I don't know, take them all to Salvation Army. Rescue Treasures. I really like it to go to Rescue Treasures because there's a lot of people that shop in that store that I'm sure would love some of the clothes that I've got. I've always bought really nice clothes. I used to dress to the nines, and they range in size, you know, from 34s in pants to almost 40s. When I got that thyroid removed, I lost all control of my weight. To my sister Candace, I don't have a whole lot to give you, but you're welcome to all my music on CDs. I know you and Richard would love those. And some of my books, too. I think Richard would like to go through those and maybe pick out some. And then, you know, Dana bought me a really nice stereo, but I don't think he wants to let that go to anybody except for somebody who's going to use it and take care of it, because it's pretty expensive from the 1974s and it's brand new. It's beautiful stereo, Pioneer speakers. I don't think he'd let that go too easy. So you guys might have to quibble over that one. But all my tools, I think Dana's going to need them here at the house. So I'd like those to stay around because they're the tools for the house. And they're in the barn and they're in the house and they're in my little bags and stuff. Those should stay with Dana, so don't nobody be walking off with that shit. And I think that's it for stuff. But I want Daniel to have my truck. I want Laura to have that cluster ring. I want Candace to have the rest of my rings. You girls, you and Laura can split up the rest of my jewelry. I got some nice earrings and necklaces and stuff, and I'll leave that to you girls to pick through that. Laura, be looking for some of your grandma's stuff. That Mary didn't make off with everything that belonged to your grandma, so there's some of that in my jewelry boxes. There's 4 of them. There's one on my dresser, there's one on my table next to the bed, and then there's one on top of the bookcase. So there's 3 huge jewelry boxes, and loads of fun for you and Candace. And I just want to tell you girls that, you know, I'm really proud of both of you, Laura and Candace. You guys are good wives to your husbands, and you're going to have nice long marriages. Just remember, don't give up. You know, you're going to have good years, you're going to have bad years. That's just the way shit rolls, you know. If you got along all the time, you'd end up hating each other and be bored to death. But anyway, so you girls do the jewelry stuff, and the CDs I want to go to my sister and her husband Richard, Daniel, my truck, and Candace, the rest of my rings. There's plenty of watches. There's lots of watches, girls. You guys can funnel through those and pick out 2 or 3 of them each. I think they just need batteries, because that's what I do. They were just so cheap at one time. You could just go buy a new box or a new watch for $8, you know, instead of paying $15 for a battery. So anyway, with that, I guess that does my stuff. I don't really own too much. I mean, I don't have any bank accounts or anything like that. My final wishes, I want to be cremated. And Dana and I, when we got married, we had our honeymoon up in Wind River Canyon. And we took some pictures along the river there. I think it's like the first little campground with the teepee. You can walk down by the river. I'd like that to be where you guys spread my ashes. The reason for that is that was very special for me and Dana. And secondly, I always loved water, especially rushing water, rivers and streams. And I really like the rain, so Wind River Canyon always gets nice seasons. My son James, I am so proud of you. I cannot say it enough in this video. And Candace, I just adore you. You are I don't think I could have picked a better wife for my son than you. So I'm very proud of you. Learn to cook. Let's see, I got Donnie Ray. Oh, Bob and Steve Cotton and Swanson. Remember that time you guys had to take me in and I had to live with you guys? And Bob and I would go load up and go to Walmart and just go to town and buy groceries by the, hundreds of dollars. And uh, I'd cook and he'd eat and we'd clean and, talk the Bible scriptures. And I think you saved me that night when I was sitting at the table, because I'll never forget that. You said a prayer and the hair on my neck stood up on my neck. And I just knew at that moment that you saved my soul. And I think you remember I quit drinking for a long time after that. And Dana and I got back together and finally settled our marriage in. And that was about 3 or 4 years into the marriage. And here we are at 20. And it must have worked, because it changed me. It changed him. We're now solid, more than we've ever been. And we don't fight and, all that weird shit anymore. We've kind of gotten used to each other. So thank you guys for taking me in when no one else would. I remember when Bob came and got me from the shelter, me and James. We had like 2 garbage bags full of shit and nowhere to go. And I called Bob and I said, we're living in a shelter. He said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So thank you. And I don't know how many of you guys knew Shorty Stewart, but he did it for me once too. I was working and he come in and I was telling him we were sitting out at Butch's. And I always drank with Shorty Stewart. Hell, I've known that old guy forever. From my bartending days. I only bartended like 25 years in this town. But anyway, Shorty was sitting there and I was going, I got no place to go. I'm living in my truck. I'm working at Senex, and blah, 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 blah. And he said, well, I got a spare room, $300 a month. I was like, I'll take it. And I moved in with Shorty over at his place. I had my room. He had his room. I didn't know at the time that he was dying of cancer, but after he died, I found out from his brother, because I only stayed with him, I think, about 6 months. And I didn't notice. I knew he had problems with the bathroom and, exactly what I'm going through. I should have known, but I didn't know what cancer was at the time. What it was like to be around someone with cancer. And so I would go in and clean up the bathroom and the tubs and, cut his toenails for him on Sundays while we watched the church programs, and cook meals, and he cooked meals. And I stayed about 6 months, and it kind of got weird there for a minute, and I moved out. And then Shorty died shortly after that, and that's when I found out that he had had cancer, and I felt really bad for it. So he will be missed. And we lost Dick Dubois a couple years ago. He was another old friend of mine, and old Dick was just great. We used to pal around, me and him, and my boyfriend Randy, and his sister, oh God, what was her name? Robin. And I mean, we would go bar to bar getting drunk, and party all over this state. So, Dick and I go way back, and I lost my friend Carmen about 4 years ago now, Sandoval. She was my sidekick for about 20 years, and she died from alcoholism. So it was a kind of a thing for me to try to get control of my alcohol again. And I've been doing fairly good since I started chemo. I think I got drunk once, and that's only because I just couldn't sleep. I was thinking, fuck, I got no way to go to sleep. I'm up. It's like 9 days. I can't get any sleep. So I got me like this big old Budweiser 40 ounce and tomato juice, and I slept finally. But then I got sleeping pills from the doctor after that, because the drinking is no good for my body. It's no good while I'm doing this chemo. And I'm still fighting the cigarettes aspect of it. I don't know. I just, it's like, you got to have something to do, you're like waiting around for your body to rebuild itself to take the next jolt. And then, at the end of it, they'll tell you if it's either spread somewhere else or if you come back good. So that's kind of the if and ands and buts about that. But moving on. Daniel and Tess. Daniel's the one I want to have in my truck. Agela. I cannot say his name. But her name is Tessa Drelling, and her husband's name is Daniel. And he took care of my truck. He cleans it. He fills it full of gas. He swamps it out, washes it. And he hasn't torn it up too bad. So I want him to have my truck. He's been a good friend. I know he would come over and get me in and out of the tub if I fucking had to. And that means a lot to me because Daniel is not looking at me like some kind of sexual predator. He likes to take care of people. He works for Meals on Wheels. He takes meals to the old folks. He does all kinds of stuff for people for no reason at all, you know, just to help them out. And he has a heart of gold. He gets a little flippy on you once in a while with his UFO shit. Ha ha ha, Daniel. You thought you had me on that one, didn't you? Anyway, but Daniel gets my truck. Free and clear to sign the title over to him, okay? Don't give him no shit. Who else? Oh, I wish Penny was around. Penny Braun. She's a 30-year friend, and we raised our kids together pretty much. She's been bebopping between Gillette and Casper since her and Leo split up. I love Leo, and I love Penny. I wished you guys could have worked it out. You know, sometimes you just need a break from one another, and you know, and then try again. But you guys got those grandkids. You got to get them raised. You got to get them raised right, because Missy K is never going to get her shit together, and neither is her husband. At least not for another 5 or 10 years. And by then, the kids will be almost raised. Dan Robinette, I love you guys, and I love your new girlfriend. She's just absolutely wonderful for you. Take care of Dana. Don't let no gold diggers get in here and start ripping his house apart and costing him $3,000 or $4,000 a month on bullshit. Be a friend to him. He's going to need somebody because I guess maybe Mom and me babied him too much. But he deserves to be babied. He works hard. He's always taken care of us. He's never denied me anything I wanted. And I told you he just bought me another bike. He bought me an 1800 Honda. My son had it for sale. I took it out for a spin, and I absolutely fucking adore it. And I hope after this chemo is done and radiation is done, that I feel well enough to at least take it for the spin for the summer. And let everybody see Mom riding in the wind again at least one more time. As far as my cats out here, nobody's really going to want to take care of them, guys. So I hate to say it, but I think you guys need to trap, you know, as many as of you can and get them down to maybe 3 or 4, just enough to keep the mice at bay. And if you have them euthanized, it's sad to do that, but if you can find homes for them on some of these ranches, please do. They're not a bother. They keep the mice out, and they're just, you know, they're part of living on a ranch. And, you know, it's great. And the same with my geese. If anybody wants them, I hope you keep them all together and don't eat them. They are great watchdogs, and they let me know when anybody is around the house. And please don't hurt them. We've had them 20 years, and the white ones are just absolutely beautiful. Big blue eyes, and they look like the ones that are down by the river in Mills. And a couple of them are Toulouse, and then there's Charlie. He's only got one leg, but he gets around fine. You know, sometimes you have to give him a little extra water and food by one spot because he does have a hard time getting around. But he's blended in pretty well. He's a little bit of a loner, but they don't pick on him too bad because he can fight back. He still has his powerful wings. And don't hurt him. Dana bought me a nice 42 coupe. It's powder blue. I don't think he's probably going to park that way or let that park to anyone. But if oh hell, if there's one of you guys that have any interest in it, like Matt, the kid next door, Dana, I'd like to see Matt have that. I mean, he's got the powder blue Dodge. You may as well have the powder blue car too, the 42. And I think he would really like that in high school. I know it's probably worth $3,000 or so, but I'm sure if you made a deal with him, he could keep up things around here at the house for, you know, the entire winter and summer to pay for it. So it's something you might want to consider. I never got to drive it, but I sure would like to. Stan and Judy Goodwin, you guys were my inspiration to get started on this lawsuit against the county over our cars. You know, we won some tremendous victories on that. And we now know that grandfathering is alive and well in Wyoming, and there's a legal precedence for anybody who's being abused by their county and city officials as far as their land uses. So there's something on the books for that for you guys out there. Remember that. It was called Jones versus the Natrona County Commissioners, and the decision was made January 3rd, 2014. So it's relatively a new case, but it stood the test of time. And I've sent it out to probably about 100 lawyers now across the United States. And Harry Bondi, our attorney, he's doing talks on it down in Denver to legal schools. So that was an important case. Keep an eye on our commissioners here in town, that's for sure, and city officials. And don't be afraid to run. Trump's going to need you. And I'm just one of probably 54 million of us that are out here that work every day to expose the deep state and the corruption and try to help Trump navigate this swamp so that we can get America back online. And even with me being sick right now, I am still very, very political. Every morning I'm up at 5 and I'm scanning, 100 newspapers and 100 websites and media, both sides of the aisle, the Democrats, the way they're looking at things, the Republicans, the way they're looking at things, and the independents in our Constitution Party, and I get it out there. Granted, I'm not a big one that's out there, but even if I touch or change one person's mind, then I've done my job. And this is what I plan to do while I'm doing this chemo and stuff. It's about all I can do. I know I'm still smoking, and it's probably not very good for me. But I'm not putting any other poisons in my body, so I figure I can handle the cigarettes. But anyway, I just wanted to let you guys all know how much I love you, and you guys standing by me every single day of the week, calling and asking if I, excuse me, that's the gas that goes with this, asking me if I need anything or can you do anything for me, and it's been great, and I'm glad I'm not wearing out my welcome with all you guys. That's why there's so many of you, and that's why I want to leave you the things that I want to leave you, because should something go bad and it doesn't work out, you know me, I never shortchange my friends, and I always make sure that I give as good as you did. If not, I try to give better, and this is why I give you money sometimes to do things for me, because your gas has got to be paid for, and your time is worth something, and and I appreciate you, and I want you to know it. And if it's giving you guys a few dollars for doing this stuff, hey, I'm all for it. It's not like we're broke. I mean, we're not rich anymore, but we got money, and Dana takes good care of us. So anyway, I've talked for 25 minutes, and just wanted to leave you guys with a little bit of food for thought. I think I'm going to miss the most is motorcycles, really good music, rich food, great movies, being held by my husband, getting a hug from my son, getting a compliment from my girlfriends, how you guys all made me laugh when I really wasn't feeling like I could laugh, and all of the great stories of your lives. And stick together, people. That's all we have is each other in this world. Money doesn't matter. Prestige doesn't matter. It's friends, and it's family, and it's you. So good luck, and I love you all, and I hope you never have to see this video, or at least not for another 10 years. Hey, this is Amazon Jude. Today's Friday, March 23rd, 2018, and happy birthday, Sister Candace. Hope you have a good night, and your old man Richard takes you out for a good dinner and does something really special for you. So happy birthday, and maybe someday we'll get to sit and talk about my cancer and see if maybe we can save you from some of it. Anyway, I had chemo Tuesday, and today's day 3. The little box I wear for a couple days after chemo finally bleeped and did its thing, and I took it off earlier today. And now I'm like really, really wrung out. This is where it's going to be day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm looking at the next 9 days of being really, really tired and gaseous, and probably a little bit of the diarrhea again, and go through the same thing I went through the first one, just hopefully not with a cold on top of it and a yeast infection on top of it, and then the big dose of number one. So that was quite the jolt to my body, and it took a good 3 weeks to recover to do this one. So I'm going to have to make sure that I'm watching my diet a little better and getting more vitamins into my body and keep up on hydration and salt and minerals, things like that. Because that's the first thing it does, is it makes you not want to drink. Nothing tastes good. Water, juices, pops, none of that tastes good. So you're going to have to pretty much force feed yourself water. I took a couple sleeping pills a little while ago because I'm really drug out and I need some really good hard snoozing time. And I'm going to crack the window, because it's raining up here in Wyoming, my favorite time of year, spring, and all my cats outside. My girls are all pregnant, so they got all little new houses to live in and warm, and places to have their babies where they won't get frozen to death with the cold nights and the warm days. And anyway, so I thought I'd do this video today. You can tell I got a little bit of chemo brain going on because I'm real fuzzy, and that's kind of one of the first things that happens to you after you do it. And, oh, I see Ollie wants in. Okay, just a minute, Ollie. Just a minute. Anyway, so take care of yourself. This is number 2. I got 4 more to go. And then I got radiation under my arm. I still have a pocket here. And it goes hard, and it goes soft, and it goes hard, and it goes soft. And he said that if it was still there in a couple weeks, that he would either put a drain back in there or drain it one more time. But I was hoping he would do it this time. But anyway, I'd like to get that taken care of. Now that I did number 2, I don't have to take as many as the drugs as I did the first time, and that's nice. We know I lost my hair. We know I lost my hair on my arms and under my pits. I still have hair everywhere else, but I assume after about 8 days the rest of it will come out. And I want to thank all my friends, Paul and his wife Laura, that have been making meals for here at the house once a week. And yeah, that soup was really good, and so was the pizza. And I want to thank my daughter-in-law, for Candace, for coming over and cleaning the house and vacuuming and changing the sheets. And I want to thank my kid next door, Matthew. He comes over and does the garbages and takes care of the geese outside and fills in water bowls for cats and the dog. And he does a really good job and goes to Walmart for my shopping and stuff. And I want to thank Daniel, my right-hand man. He comes out and works in the yard and digs the garbage out and details my truck and takes care of all the miscellaneous work around the house, bird pools and things like that, and a little fixer-upper. So thank you, Daniel. I love you and Tess very much. I want to thank my friend Donnie Ray. She's been my big rock on if I need something, minutes on my phone, and I don't feel like running to the store or doing something, she'll do that, or pick up my meds, or just visit with me on the phone. And then my friend Deb T. She recently moved here from Texas, and she just got her clean bill of health a couple of weeks ago, so she's starting life all over again, and she's doing good. And I talk to her regularly. She's been my kind of chemo partner, telling me what to expect as far as the next bad wave of days, or what's going to happen next to my body or look for. I'm already starting to get the sore throat, and I got that to begin with, and that means I got to start getting salt water and baking soda brushes going on for my teeth and gargling, because then the mouth sores will show up again, and those are a booger. I can already feel it starting on the back of my tongue. And that's where food tastes like shit. So you're better off just sticking to puddings and Just things that you can eat. A lot of soups. Try to get your protein in though. Yogurt, bananas, and if the diarrhea starts again, I found that sauerkraut works the best. And bananas and burnt toast scrapings and a little bit of lemon juice, and seem to put the skids to it. But you can always rely on that anti-diarrhea that you can get from your doctor. And be sure to get it because you're going to need it. And make sure you keep it refilled. Pepto-Bismol and what's the other one? Imodium AD. There's no comparison. When you can pop 2 of these pills, it might get you a little constipated, so be careful and use them sparingly. But make sure in between you let a little gas let off, because you're going to get gas. That's already started for me today. So it'll be belching and farting and bad taste, and you'll want to eat the shit out of Rolaids. Try to use some baking soda and water. It's a little better, and plus it detox your liver and things like that too. So that's really good. I guess that's it for today. Just kind of chemo brain and, you know, piddling around the house. Made a couple of steaks for the old man for dinner and got the garbage taken out. But I got to have the kid come over and scrape the litter boxes. We got a new cat. Dana talked me into another cat. I can't believe it. Oh, but she was running around at the shop. She was going to get run over. La 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 la. So he brings her home, and she's been hiding out for 2 days. Mike's got her pretty much trained. I'm hoping that I don't have a lot of poop to clean up. But we're going to have to get her shots pretty quick. Because out here, this is the time of year that my feral cats always end up with, you know, some horrible fucking upper respiratory disease. And now that you can't buy antibiotics over the counter, but you can get it some at a fish store and use it on your cats too. They still have antibiotics, and you can buy it online too. So that's been kind of a way we've gotten around the government as far as getting antibiotics for animals. But anyway, now you see where I just fly off into some other direction. Anyway, ladies, try to keep up your, you know, positive attitude. Keep people around you that are supportive. Keep trying to do your daily chores, because you've got to move. You know, at one point or another, you can't just sit there and lay there and you know, be sick. You got to help your body to make it produce the blood cells that you need, and that is protein, and that is, you know, vitamins, and that is a little bit of exercise. I know you're tired, but at least clean the house every day, you know, and do a little laundry. And like me, I have all these animals to take care of, and I've been pawning the outdoor animals off on the boys, but I still get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I still read the newspapers, and I still, you know, do my videos for politics, and I still do my videos for this cancer. And I still manage to interact with at least 5 of my friends in a day. So don't shut yourself off and shut yourself down. Get out there as best as you can. You're better off not being in public. So if you can talk to people by Skype or, you know, texting, do that. Because the less time you're in the public realm, the less chance you have of catching any kind of, you know, colds and flus and, you know, whatever else. Because your immunity is shit right now. And that's what you should be doing, is building up your immunity. Anything you can eat and you know, take in, whether it be by foods or, you know, sports drinks, whatever, take it in. We need it. So with that, I'll close tonight. And God bless all you women with cancer, man. I hear we have a pretty good percentage rate. I'm praying that I get a reprieve at some point too. After all this, I'd hate to die, you know. My husband and I are just getting to the point in our lives where, you know, we should be setting off in our Winnebagos and seeing America and not spending $2 million on trying to save my life. So, anyway, with that, God bless us all, and lay off Trump, man. He's doing the best he can do. He's working with some real shitheads. And in November, if we don't vote most of these guys out, he's never going to be able to make America great again.
Action.
Action. There it is.
Everybody, and united. Oh, everybody, and united. Oh, celebration, holiday invitation. Let's hear it.
Louder.
You can do it.
Click the volume up.
Hey!
Okay, Mr. Tinkles. Say leaves. Something's missing.
That's it. Everybody, shake it around till you're dying. Oh, everybody, move your hair until you're dying.
Sometimes see you pass outside my door. Hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile.
Do the next one. It's already over. It's over.
Come on. I thought I had 2 minutes. Here, hold up.
Regular checkups
Did I-
for small
So
hair
here's
problems.
my hair that I got from Susie M. out at Rocky Mountain Oncologist. And these are some of my memes that I've backed up through the year of the first year of Trump. And now I'm going to try on all the different hats and stuff that everybody gave me. My friend Michelle and Brenda gave me these. And that one's kind of funny. It makes me look like a space alien, but it's warm and it's soft. And of course, my favorite baseball cap, my Marvin Harrington hat. And this, I'm asking President Trump to get rid of these e-logs. My God, this is going to decimate the trucking industry, and they keep pushing for that every time I get online with them. I wanted to know we need to stop that. And then these are all various stages of, the beginning of my not feeling so good. And that was a rough day, but I managed to put on a smile. I do want Donnie Ray to have some stuff too. Donnie, if there's anything in my house that you really like, whether it be the coffee table or pictures on the walls or anything of that, you can have at least 6 items of inside my house that you've absolutely adored. I've got a nice butter churn that's old that belonged to Dana's parents, and there's some old toasters and some of my books. Any of the books you want, you can have them. I know you love to read, and you especially like the medical books. Look for those. They're all around on diseases and how to homeopathic kind of stuff. I've got a lot of those. And if there's any of my boots that you think you can make a few dollars off of for yourself, go ahead and take my boots, because I have a lot of nice pairs of those. And I forgot to include you in the first part of this. That's why I'm doing it now.